right. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
We are back. Continuing on with our look at the triennial Torah portion. Today, we're going to be looking at, I plan to look at Numbers 20 and 21. Probably more of a overview of 21. We want to look at chapter 20 and deal with a few things inside of there. There's some pretty important things that we see go on in Numbers chapter 20, and we want to deal with contending with Moses. Contending with Moses. When we look at Israel and the actions of ancient Israel in the scriptures, there seems to be many instances when we see the people contending with Moses, and this is a very important instance of this happening that we'll be looking at today. So we're going to go ahead and get right into it. I think we'll just go ahead and read chapter 20, and then we'll just go back and look at some key points in it. So let me just go ahead and pull up chapter 20 here. Pull it up on the screen. And you can go ahead and start reading as soon as I get there. Okay, go ahead.
And the children of Israel, all the congregation, came into the wilderness of Sin in the first new moon. And the people stayed in Kadesh, and Miriam died there and was buried there. Now there was no water for the congregation, and they assembled against Moshe and against Aaron. And the people contended with Moshe and spoke, saying, "If only we had died when our brothers died before Yahweh. Why have you brought up the assembly of Yahweh into this wilderness, that we and our livestock should die here? And why have you brought us up out of Mitzrayim to bring us to this evil place? Not a place of grain or figs or vines or pomegranates, and there is no water to drink." Then Moshe and Aaron went from the presence of the assembly to the door of the tent of appointment, and they fell on their faces, and the esteem of Yahweh appeared to them. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, "Take the rod and assemble the congregation, you and your brother Aaron, and you shall speak to the rock before their eyes, and it shall give its water, and you shall bring water for them out of the rock, and give drink to the congregation and their livestock." And Moshe took the rod from before Yahweh, as he commanded him. And Moshe and Aaron assembled the assembly before the rock. And he said to them, "Hear now, you rebels, shall we bring water for you out of this rock?" Then Moshe lifted his hand and struck the rock twice with his rod, and much water came out, and the congregation and their livestock drank. But Yahweh spoke to Moshe and to Aaron, saying, "Because ye did not believe me, to set me apart in the eyes of the children of Israel. Therefore, you do not bring this assembly into the land which I have given them. These were the waters of Meribah, because the children of Israel contended with Yahweh, and he was set apart among them.
Let's actually stop right there. 13. Let's go back up here and pull out a few of these things that we see over here. A lot of things happen. First of all, we see that Miriam has died. There's somewhat of a memorial in Torah here, letting us know where Miriam dies, around the time that she she dies, and the place in which that happens. Scripture was not silent in regards to the death of Miriam, who did have a important role in the nation, and it's just interesting that that Torah lets us know kind of when and where this takes place. But when we look over here at something that seems to be almost normal for Israel in the wilderness, is that they are lacking water. They lack from kind of natural resources and the things that they that anyone kind of needs for survival. Mm-hmm. And it forces the people to have to depend on the Almighty for their every want and need. However, we look over here and we see in verse 3 the way in which the people kind of respond, how they deal with the adversity, is at this point typical for them, but it is a negative reaction nonetheless. So we want to look over here at verse 3. Let me see here. Verse 3, we want to look at a few things here. First of all, it says that the people contended. This version here says the people contended. The King James uses the word chode. That word in the Hebrew is reeb. Sometimes it looks like this as reeb. Sometimes it looks like this as rube. But the word nonetheless means to toss, to grapple, to wrangle, to hold controversy, to defend adversary, chide, complain, contend, debate, rebuke, strive, and so on. So we look at this, it's interesting that you have this people who is being led through the wilderness by the Most High at the instruction of the Most High to Moses. And we see that these people are striving and contending and disputing. And let's see what is some of these other things. This is interesting. They are conducting a lawsuit. If we look over here, to conduct a lawsuit against. Right? I have problems with the things that you're doing. And then not only do I have problems, but I'm also bringing up all of these so-called evidences to try to prove that I'm right and you're wrong. Right? If I'm bringing up a lawsuit, is I have to also gather up all of the reasons why, the things that I'm saying is the way that the things should be, and also the things that the way in which you are dealing with your situation, why that's wrong. And so it's interesting when we look at this word over here that this word that is translated as to contend or to chide or adversary. It includes all of the things. When you dispute with someone, when you debate with someone, right? You have all of your reasons, you have all of your things lined up and ready to go, right? All of your points of contention that you want to bring to the table. And so, this would be fine if we were just thinking about the idea of someone bringing up a case against an individual. But the problem is that Moses, being a representative of the Most High, the problems that the people have with Moses, they actually have with the Most High. And so now it changes this thing into this whole other situation where they're bringing up a lawsuit against the Almighty.
And they're not gonna win that.
Yes, they aren't going to win. Go ahead.
I mean, I just think about how when we admonish people to do things according to the Torah, according to the ways of the Most High, and they can just look at it like the person saying the instruction.
Yeah.
But the instruction is actually coming from on high.
Yes.
It's actually coming from the scriptures.
Yes,
so
and
you don't have a problem. You don't have a problem with me.
Yeah.
I mean, people they might even try to cancel people who tell them the truth. Don't cancel them and still say they serve the Most High. Meanwhile, do they really?
Yeah, it's interesting because, first of all, you see different kind of things going on here. When you think about somebody, arguing, bringing up a lawsuit against an individual who's speaking the words of the Most High. If the person don't understand the words of the Most High, then he or she could think that the things that I would be saying is my thoughts. So they could potentially be coming against me in their mind, not knowing that I'm just saying what the word says, but the people don't know what the word says. And so these where the problems come in at. It's interesting that you see that very thing when you look at Israel and the way that they're behaving, because, well, you would think that if they understood the origin of, the things that they are doing, they wouldn't behave in this manner. Unfortunately, when we look at the scriptures, they kind of, show that they do, kind of see that these things are coming from the Most High, but Moses is the one that they can touch. And so they bring their complaints to Moses. But just us looking at this thing kind of in its fullness, understanding, what's actually going on, is the fact that the problem that these people have is not with Moses, right? It's with the Almighty, because he's just the mouthpiece. And so when we think about verse 3, when it talks about this idea of them contending, them grappling, they're fighting against Moses. They're fighting against the things that he's saying. Moses is saying, come on, we're going this way. The people's like, no, I don't want to go that way. I don't want to go anywhere. I need some water. I need to drink right now. We're out here. We're thirsty. We need water. And so at the end of verse 3, read verse 3 again.
And the people contended with Moshe and spoke, saying, if only we had died when our brothers died before Yahweh.
Oh, my goodness. They said, if only we had died when our brothers died before Yahweh. And so, oh, my goodness. These people. So, brothers, over here, if we look in the King James, if we had died when our brethren died. Over here, let's see here. This word here, brethren, of course, is ak. Let me pull that up here. Brother, the sense of a literal relationship or metaphorical affinity or resemblance. And so it's interesting when you think about the idea of a brother as far as a literal relationship. But in this case, we could see where it could be speaking of brethren in terms of kinsmen, but it also most definitely is bringing about the idea of this metaphorical affinity, because these people over here are taking the side of the people that perished already. And we think about the side, the thought process of the people that perished. It was wickedness against the Most High. And so it's almost as if these people are drawing this line in the sand, and they're choosing sides. And they say, we choose the people that died. In fact, one of the things that I don't like is when we talk about people that have died, and people that have been killed, and put those two things in the same category. I don't like that. Let's be specific about things when they need to be specific, because there's a difference between, someone just living their life and then they just happen to die. But to say that these people died is really not being explicit enough and even truthful to the circumstances. The people were judged because of their disobedience and wickedness against the Most High, against Aaron and Moses, against the authority structure that the Most High set up. And so they didn't just die, they were killed. And so they're not even dealing with, they were judged, they received judgment. They're not even dealing with the facts of the matter, right? They're not even dealing with the fact that these people came up against the Most High, actually kind of in the same way that these people are doing right now, And that's the reason why they're no longer in the land of the living. And so, they know it. It did just happen, right? They know that it happened. And so when you think about this again, it's these people that based on their actions, based on the things that they're actually doing, they're literally saying whose side they're on by the actions and the things that they're actually doing and saying, if only we had perished with our brothers before Yahweh. Right now, we're going to stand up and say that we on the side of the people that's against the Most High. They might as well have said that. Because that's exactly what it is that they're doing. They're standing literally against the Almighty. If only we had perished when our brothers perished before Yahweh. I mean, if we just think about when they perished coming up against, bringing up a lawsuit against the Most High and being judged accordingly. Read verse 4 again.
Why have you brought up the assembly of Yahweh into this wilderness, that we and our livestock should die here?
That's crazy.
They crazy. It just was crazy.
My thing is, at this point in the game, this conversation has been had already.
Why are we still talking about this?
Many times.
This conversation has already taken place. And then yet and still, the people get back to the same process of complaining against the Most High and everything that he's done. I mean, if they taking it all the way back, to bringing them into the wilderness, they're taking it all the way back to what it is that the Most High has done for them from the very beginning. Because Israel as a nation was really created, at the Passover. Israel as a nation, Israel as a nation, as a people unto the Most High was really its establishment was on Abib 15, whatever year that was when they came out of the wilderness. And so for them to sit up here and talk about you bringing us into the wilderness, taking it all the way back to the beginning, I never should have married you. Why am I even with you? Like, these are some terrible things that these people are sitting up here doing to both Moses and the Most High. Everything that you've ever done for me is worthless. But these is the most important things that he ever did. Period. Bringing them into the wilderness means taking them out of Egypt. And they're not even like mincing words. Right? They little verse 5, read verse 5.
And why have you brought us up out of Mitzrayim to bring us to this evil place?
Okay, so and so before, when it talks about bringing them into the wilderness, at that point we're assuming that it's talking about bringing them out of Egypt. But when we just keep on reading, it talks about bringing them out of Egypt. And then talking about the place where they are, well, actually, it's interesting because are we saying that when we look at verse 5, it's talking about where they are or where they're going? Because if it's where they're going, this is a lie. If the evil place that they speak about is the place that they're going to, they said that that's a place, not a place of grain or figs or vines or pomegranates, and there's no water to drink. If that's the place where they're going, here, let's look over here. Let's look over here at Exodus 23. Read verses. Hold on. Hold on. This is actually Numbers. My fault. I went to the wrong scripture. We're going to look at Exodus 23 in a moment, but I'm talking about Numbers 13 and 23. What does that say right
And
there?
it says, and they came to the Wadi Eshkol and cut down from there a branch with one cluster of grapes. And they bore it between two of them on a pole, also of the pomegranates and of the figs.
Okay, so we know that the land, according to, the way that them people went up in there, and spied out the land, we know that there's vines, and pomegranates and figs in the place over there. And so if the people over here are referring to the place where they are going, that's a terrible, terrible lie, right? But again, when we think about these people and them joining themselves to a already known wicked group of folks, right? This in and of itself is sinful, right? For these people to literally join forces with and form this alliance with, they called these wicked people their brethren, forming an alliance with these people and coming up against with their court case against the Most High. What's this say 1 and 2 right here?
Do not bring a false report. Do not put your hand with the wrong to be a malicious witness.
It said, do not put your hand with the wrong to be a malicious witness. These people are putting their hand with the wrong, with the known wrong. It's not even potentially wrong. The people have already been judged for the thing that they've done. And they heard this law. This is Exodus 23 and 1. This happened as soon as they got out of there. As soon as they heard the 10 Commandments. This is 3 chapters later. Do not bring a false report. Do not put your hand. Do not put your strength with, add to, combine yourself with the wrong to be a malicious witness. What's verse 2 say?
Do not follow a crowd to do evil.
Oh my goodness. If we just think about this right here as a commandment of the Most High, do not follow a crowd to do evil. Wow. Wow. And to do so is a sin. What else is that?
Nor bear witness in a strife so as to turn aside after many. To turn aside what is right.
So when we sit up here, and align ourselves with wickedness, or when we align ourselves with those who do wickedness. It's sin. Do not follow the crowd to do evil. I remember some months ago. Well, it was probably, I don't want to say years because it wasn't years ago, when all of these things was going on with these different police things and rioting and things all over the place. Was that years at this point? People was running around tearing up downtown. When was that?
I know it was last year.
Was that 20? Oh, okay, so it was just last year when that happened. But you could potentially have just been standing by, watching the foolishness, and seeing people having a type of positive outcome as a result of some wickedness that they was doing, running up in stores and coming out with stuff. And you say, wow, they running up in there. They coming out. The police ain't coming. I could run in there too. You never planned on running up in the store and looting the store, right? But you saw an opportunity. Nobody's around. The things is right over there. Somebody done made a big hole in the door or the window or whatever, and people are just walking upright straight through. I could run in there and grab me a pair of size 12s real quick and maybe some for my baby. And that's what people was doing. Somebody just didn't have no thought to do evil that day and saw that evil being done. And just because of the simple fact that people was getting away with it, they said in their heart, I'm going to do that too. But that person's not innocent. That person's not innocent because they sat up there and they followed the crowd to do evil. They followed the crowd to do evil. How many times do we sit up here and just jump on somebody's bandwagon just because it's something that you at the moment had the ability to do? It said over here, do not follow a crowd to do evil. That's what these people was doing against Moses when they sat up there and brought up this court case against him and the Most High. And they got all these things to say, chiding. All it says is that they chode against Moses. But what was they saying? Can you imagine what it's like to have hundreds of thousands of people that have risen up against an individual? Like what that sounds like. The only thing I could think of is like a sporting event. Somebody's like, there's a bad call, and the whole stadium chodes against the referee. Ooh, boo! All in unison, right? You have thousands of people all voicing their disdain against one person.
What about the revolution, January 6th or whenever that was?
Oh my goodness, that was crazy. That was even crazier. What was that? Was that January?
I think it's
January 6th? Is that when that happened?
I think so.
When them people ran up in the White House and all that? I mean, what was that? The Capitol building? Sitting in there, dude in there with his feet up on somebody's desk. That was craziness. Was them people just decided, and that was probably the same exact thing. Out of all the people that ran up in there, some people was like, they was really running up in the Capitol building. I'm gonna run in there too. Take me a selfie inside of there too. Somebody ran out with like a random flag that was just in the hallway.
Podium too.
Everything. It was craziness. But all of them people followed the crowd to do evil. Comma. That's a sin right there. Then it says, nor bear witness in the strife so as to turn aside from many. That's a whole other thing. Don't do this or that. Don't do this thing nor do that thing. Just for you to follow the crowd to do evil, comma, that's a sin right there. But it's so easy. It's so easy. We get caught up in our emotions, and somebody probably ended up was the rally like up the street and they marched down the street. It was a rally up the street. I'm saying 10 people was at the rally up the street and just was like, we gonna just have a good time and support Trump right now. And then they got riled up in the crowd. 10 people decided at the rally to, because other people was talking about it, they went to. And I'm gonna say 10 people just went from one place to the other and went in the building. They didn't have those intentions when they left the house, but they saw the crowd doing it, peer pressure. They saw the crowd doing it and they went in there too. There's a lot to be said about peer pressure. I could really just think about these sporting events because it's such an interesting dynamic when you see so many people operating in unison. Just one thing happens and everybody reacts all at the same all at the same time. People standing up at the same time. Thousands of people in unison. But over here, we're talking about the idea that these people are coming against the Most High. Coming against Moses and what that looks like in direct opposition to the Torah. In direct opposition to what it is that the actual words of the Most High is saying for us to be doing. Here, let's look over here at Joshua 24. Let me pull this up here. Joshua 24. Read 14 down through 19.
And now, fear Yahweh, serve him in perfection and in truth, and put away the mighty ones which your fathers served beyond the river and in Mizraim, and serve Yahweh. And if it seems evil in your eyes to serve Yahweh, choose for yourselves this day whom you are going to serve, whether the mighty ones which your fathers served that were beyond the river, or the mighty ones of the Amorites, in whose land you dwell. But I and my house, we serve Yahweh.
That man said, if it seems evil in your eyes to serve Yahweh, then choose the idol then. And them people, that's what they did. They chose against the Most High. It was evil in their eyes to follow after the Most High who brought them out of Mizraim into this wilderness. Keep on going.
And the people answered and said, far be it from us to forsake Yahweh, to serve other mighty ones. For Yahweh our Elohim is he who has brought us and our fathers up out of the land of Mitzrayim from the house of bondage, who did those great signs before our eyes, and has guarded us in all the way that we went, and among all the people through whom we passed. And Yahweh drove out from before us all the people, even the Amorites who dwelt in the land. We too serve Yahweh, for he is our Elohim. Then Yehoshua said to the people, you are not able to serve Yahweh, for he is a set apart Elohim. A jealous El is he. He does not bear with your transgression and your sins.
Okay. So we see over here, these people, the things that come out of their mouth is very different than these people over back in Numbers who wanted to come against Yahweh, who wanted to come against the Most High. These people said, you brought us out of Mizraim, out of the house of bondage, and you did these great signs before our eyes and guided us, they said, in all the way that they went. These people recognized the fact that the Most High was actually leading them and guiding them every step of the way. But those wicked people back in Numbers chapter 20, what we're looking at, were only able to concentrate on the moment. And they allowed the moment to define their whole existence. And when you think about that as a thing, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense for these people to look at a thing, a point in time, when time is this big, huge thing. And they're looking at this point in time, this moment in time that's happening, and they're allowing that moment to define their existence. Right now, I'm so thirsty. Right now, if I don't get something to drink very soon, I just very well may perish right now. But who's to say what's going to happen in a few moments later? Maybe I'll just get some drink and I'll be fine again. That moment has passed and new things have happened. And the amazing thing that happened prior to that one little small moment causes you to forget all about the small moment. And so these people, they sat up here and they are dealing with their right now. They're dealing with their right now and accusing the Most High of something that that he's clearly not even doing. We see when Moses goes before the Almighty, he provides a solution. He provides a solution for the problem. But the people, all they want to do is rise up against Moses and rise up against the Almighty, when in reality the Most High is literally guarding and leading the people through the wilderness to the promised land. Like he said from the very beginning what he was going to do, where he was going to take the people from the beginning. And so if they were faithful, if they were a faithful people, they would understand that no matter what the process was from A to B, that at some point they was going to make it to the place where the Most High said that they was going to make it to. Mm-hmm. If we was only able to allow our faith to function that way, understanding that when the Most High says that he's going to do this or that, sometimes we don't fully understand what it looks like for him to do this or that. And so until we get to that place of him actually doing it, you know, we might not have a full understanding as to how everything is going to be. But we have to still be able to trust that his word is true. Mm-hmm. And that's what these people wasn't able to do. They wasn't able to accept what it was that the Most High said. In fact, they denied. They denied what the Most High has said. And they said, you brought us out here to die. When we know that the Most High did not indeed bring them out there to die. He brought them through the wilderness to actually get rid of all the people that would be doing these very things. You know, that's something else that we have to understand, is that when we think about the wilderness experience, the whole purpose and point of it was to purify Israel as a nation. Mm-hmm. Israel as a nation had all kinds of faithless individuals within it that needed to be weeded out, that needed to be cut off. And these are just examples of that. When we look in the overall picture of Israel going through the wilderness, we're able to see the characteristics that the Most High don't want in you. He don't want these characteristics in you. When we think about the carnality of man, we see we see these characteristics, and the Most High, he don't want these, right? He cuts these off, and we see that throughout the scriptures. Here, let's look at some more examples over here. Let's go over to read for us from the book of wisdom. The wisdom of Solomon here. Hold on one second. We want to look at chapter 15. 15, start reading at verse 3 through 6.
For to know thee is perfect righteousness. Yea, to know thy power is the root of immortality.
Hold on, just look at this. For to know thee, to know the Almighty. When you know him, it says, for to know thee is perfect righteousness. When you know him, when you yada him, when you have an intimate relationship with the Most High, when you have that intimate, perfect relationship with the Most High, that's perfect righteousness. Mm-hmm. When you know his power, when you know what he's capable of doing, this is the root of immortality. When we understand his power, that's when we begin to understand that's the building blocks for everlasting life. That's heavy right there. Because we're able to see, when we think about what these people was doing over in Numbers, they had no idea who they was dealing with. If they did, they wouldn't be behaving that way. In that way. They had no idea of the power of the Most High. Which was definitely, showing that they, didn't have the root of immortality. Read verse 4.
It says, for neither did the mischievous invention of men deceive us, nor an image spotted with diverse colors. The painter's fruitless labor, the sight whereof entice fools to lust after it. And so they desire the form of a dead image that hath no breath. Both they that make them, they that desireth they that desire them, and they that worship them are lovers of evil things, and are worthy to have such things to trust upon.
When we think about the actions of the people who are coming up against Moses, when we think about all of the things that are involved in causing them to even to move in that direction in the first place, these people are worthy of all that would befall someone who's connected to idolatry. The foolishness, all the foolishness that goes along with it, the idea of you actually fashioning a thing and then going ahead and worshiping that same thing. And so when we think about the fact that these people were able to go and have the very creator and sustainer of all things actually interact with them and actually protect them and lead them and guide them and move on their behalf and then witness it, and for them to constantly doubt his abilities, is unbelievable. It's unbelievable the way in which these people move. But something else actually is unbelievable. Because look at what we see. Look at what we see. Let's drop down. Let's go back to, first of all, let's go back to Numbers. Let's go back to Numbers 20. And look at verse 6. All right, let's look at verse 6 again. Hold on one second. Okay, good.
You said where?
6.
Then Moshe and Aaron went from the presence of the assembly to the door of the tent of appointment, and they fell on their faces, and the esteem of Yahweh appeared to them.
Okay, very good. Let's deal with this for a moment, because Moshe and Aaron, of course, were confronted with this very serious issue. The people were contending against the Most High. They had a problem. Moshe and Aaron, they didn't have any water to give the people. The people are coming against them at who knows what of a degree. Like, we don't know what the degree of chiding this was that the people were doing. You know, they could have sent a representative, right? And it could have been the same thing. Or they could have all came and stood before Moses and Aaron and made their complaints known. But it says that they left from the presence of the people, and they went to the presence of the Almighty. They moved away from the midst of the issue of the problem, and they moved towards the place where the problem could be solved, which was the presence of the Almighty. Let's look at let's look at Psalms 16 and 11. 16 verse 11. What's that say right there?
Says, "You show me the path of life. In your presence is joy to satisfaction. At your right hand are pleasures forever."
The King James says in verse 11. Read that. Read King James. Read that
It
at the
says,
bottom.
"Thou wilt show me the path of life. In thy
The
presence."
path of life is in thy presence. Thou will show me the path of life. In thy presence is the fullness of joy. There's the fullness of joy in the presence of the Most High. These people over here, they went and it said that the glory of Yahweh appeared to them in verse 6 of Numbers chapter 20. They left from the people. They went from they went from the people. They went into the tent of meetings. They fell on their face, and the glory of Yahweh appeared to them. The presence of Yahweh appeared to them. Over here, this said, in the presence of Yahweh is the fullness of joy. And so they must have experienced the fullness of joy in the presence of Yahweh, because they was in his presence. If the fullness of joy is experienced in the presence of Yahweh, and the presence of Yahweh appeared to them, then the fullness of joy appeared to them. And then not only did the esteem of Yahweh appear to them, but they also received instructions. Right? We can't pass over this part right here. Right? There's a problem. They go before Yahweh, and then he answers them. Right in verse 8. There's a problem. They take their problem to the Most High. In verse 8, he answers them. But in verse 6, just by us understanding this part right here, that the esteem of Yahweh appeared to them, that's a heavy, heavy thing. That's a heavy thing. And then that's no pun intended. Right? When we think about the esteem of Yahweh, that is dealing with his kavod, right? His glory, his kavod, his weight, right? His goodness, his character, his essence appeared to them, which is a heavy thing. It's a heavy thing. Right? And so when we think about this verse 6, it's not a light thing at all to think about the fact that when they went before the Most High, that his presence came. Because when his presence comes, it's the fullness of joy also comes. At thy right hand there are pleasures forevermore in the presence of the Most High. Okay, so we keep on going over here, and we see he got instructions, right? He got instructions from the Most High. He tells them what to do. Take the stick, gather the people, speak to the rock, give them some water, right? They go through all that. Take the rod, gather the people, you and your bro, speak to the rock, give the people water. Right? That's just what he said. right? But he said that again as Moses and Aaron was in his presence. And it's not even like there was it don't even talk about there being no mediator in between, a messenger. Like they're experiencing the presence of the Most High. And, he's talking to them at the same time. Right? Take the rock, gather the people, you and your bro. Speak to the rock, give the people water. So as far as we can see over here, the obedience of Moshe stops at verse 9. Right? Because he told him to take the rod from the people, take the rod and assemble the people. So he did that. And then read verse 10 right there.
Says, and Moshe and Aaron assembled the assembly before the rock, and he said to them, "Hear now, you rebels, shall we bring water for you out of this rock?"
This is the part right here. This is the part right here where he done messed up already. Before he even gets to 11 over here, to even begin to think about striking the rock, is this part right here. And this is the part that we have to be able to learn from in our real life. Mm-hmm. Because Moses, he had an issue. And it was a serious issue. It was a real life situation. He went to the Most High for an answer to his problem. Mm-hmm. And the Most High gave him an answer to the problem. But when he comes back to the people, look at what he do. Hear now, you rebels. Hear now, you rebels, he said to the people. How did he get from the fullness of joy? How did he get from the fullness of joy where he was in the presence of the Most High back to the same way that he was when he went in there to ask the Most High for help and direction in the first place? What happened to the fullness of joy that he experienced in the presence of the Most High and pleasures evermore? He forgot all about that whenever he got back and connected himself back with these people again. Mm-hmm. This is the equivalent of people, having these little experiences that these people have in these churches, where they got all these problems and they go into the thing and they get this little thing going on with them in the church, with the music and the dancing and the word going out, and they get all excited about all of the things, and then they go back. Israel happened. That's what happened. What happened? Israel happened. Right? But I'm going to take it a step further. When you say Israel happened, and I'm going to say that Jacob happened. Because the people were not dealing with the Most High in the spirit. The people were dealing from a carnal perspective. And so when these things happen that are spiritual, you can't be affected. You can't be affected by the spirit when you're in the flesh. And so the people was acting like that. The people was doing that, right? They didn't trust that what the Most High said was going to come to pass. But not only was the people doing that, but Moses was doing it too, because he went into the presence of the Most High with his problems, and he came back out of the presence of the Most High with those same problems. The same problems that he had when he went in was the same problem that he had when he came out. He was never able to, oh my goodness. Moses followed the crowd to do evil. Yes, he did. Yes, he did do that. He was overtaken by carnality. He was overtaken by carnality, so much so that the Ruach HaKodesh, the spirit of holiness, was of no effect to him when he went into the presence of the Most High. It didn't change him. He came out the same way that he went in. Mad. Hear now, you rebels, he said. He went in, he came out the same way that he went in, with his anger and with his rage. He didn't even hear the Most High. All he heard was get the stick. Something about a rock and water. He didn't even hear the instructions. He couldn't have. He couldn't have heard this. There was a stick, gather the people, a rock, water. Because he didn't do what the Most High said. He just was caught up in his emotion and what was going on. Right? And then verse 11, what does it say in verse 11?
Then Moshe lifted his hands and struck the rock twice with his rod.
Most High ain't say nothing about striking no rock. And he definitely didn't say nothing about striking it 2 times. He said, speak to the rock. Speak to the rock is what he said. Speak to it. He didn't say nothing about hitting it 1 or 2 times. But because of the fact that he was overtaken, we can deduce, we're able to deduce that Moses was overtaken with emotion. We're able to deduce that. Because we're able to see that his emotion prevented him from hearing what the Most High said. And if it didn't prevent him from hearing what the Most High said, it most certainly prevented him to doing what the Most High said to do. And, when we think about, yes, indeed, Israel will, these people will push you to the edge when you are not operating in the Spirit. Because if he was operating in the Spirit, he would have came out different. He would have came out different from the way that he came in. And this, we got to learn this, because we have real problems in this world. We got real issues where we dealing with our own issues, when we helping other people to deal with their issues. We have to be able to go to the Father. We have to be able to go to the Father and give these things to the Father and leave those things over there with the Father. when we think about the idea, the spiritual application of a sacrifice. The spiritual application of a sacrifice is that I'm taking this thing that I previously treasured. I'm taking this thing of value, this real tangible thing, and I'm taking it to the Most High, and I'm leaving it over there with him. And when I leave it there, the situation is finished. The situation is done. The situation is over because I brought my thing to the Most High and I left it with him and I put it in his hands. And so the equivalent is that I have this sin that I've committed, and I bring my offering to the priest, and then I take the offering back with me. I don't let the process take place. The priest take the knife out, he ready to slit the thing's throat, and then I just like, nah, I want to hold on to this a little longer. I want to hang on to this sin a little longer. I want to hold on to the consequences that my sin has created a little longer. I don't want to give it up right now. I want to hold it and love it and cherish it and water it and feed it and let it grow a little stronger, a little longer. Moses did that. He took his problem to the Most High. The Most High was able to answer the problem that he had, but he took out away from the Most High. He got what the Most High gave him, and then he also kept what it was that he was supposed to leave with the Most High. And so, we can't do this, right? We're able to see a very serious example over here with Moses of taking our situations to the Most High and bringing them back with us. Mm-hmm. This is the quintessential example of what faith shouldn't look like. When I take my thing to the Most High, when I take it to him, trusting in the Almighty to do this thing that I'm petitioning for him to do, when I take him that thing and I put my trust in him, that thing is done. That thing is over. Because as soon as I continue to carry that thing, that worry, that doubt that I have in regards to it, that's me expressing the fact that I don't have faith that he's going to do what I'm asking that he do. He must not be strong enough to do this thing that I'm asking for him to do. That's what we exhibit when we sit up here and live this life of always being fearful and doubting of things that the Most High says that he's going to do, or things that you petition, that you take to the Most High for him to do. If I say, Most High, please take this thing away from me. And then now I'm worrying if you're going to take it or not. That's doubt. That's not faith. The Bible tells us that without faith, it's impossible to please him. So we have to live a life that's about steadfastness, about firmness. There's nothing that's firm about this thing that Moshe did over here. Because he didn't allow the presence of the Most High to affect change in his life and in his situation. He exhibited faithlessness. Look what he said. Verse 12.
But Yahweh spoke to Moshe and to Aaron, because you did not believe me.
Hold on. He said what?
He said, because you did not believe me.
He said you didn't do what?
He said, because you did not believe me.
Oh my, what is that word right there? He said, because you did not aman me. Because you did not support the things that I had to say in regards to you. Because you was not firm in your actions in regards to me. Because you was not faithful. Because you did not trust me. Because you was not able to be permanent. Look at this. You was not quiet. You was not quiet. That's interesting, quiet. Because when there's trust and permanence and having the ability to be firm in a thing, you don't gotta be all this or that about something that you firm about. Man, whatever. You want to say all that what you got to say. I know the truth. I ain't got to sit up here and go back and forth with you. I'm just going to be quiet. Right? I could just be, you could be however you want to be. I don't got to sit up here and fight with you because I know what the real deal is. I'm just going to be quiet. I'm just going to be firm about my situation. He came out, hear you. What'd he say? He said, hear now, you rebels. He wasn't quiet. He wasn't quiet when he came out. He wasn't firm and rooted in the things that the Most High had for him. And the Most High called him out on it. He said, because you did not believe me. What else it say?
It says, to set me apart in the eyes of the children of Israel. Therefore, you do not bring this assembly into the land which I have given them.
Oh, wow. He got judged right there. Moses got judged right there because of this thing that he did. And so we really got to think about this now, of the weightiness of the offense that Moses did right over here. This very thing that he was chosen to do from the very beginning, if we go all the way back to the burning bush with Moses, this very thing that he was called out to do, the Most High says, because of this thing that happened right over here, you do not bring the assembly into the land which I have given them. This whole journey got canceled because of these actions that he did or didn't do right here in these few verses. And so again, if we was going to just say one thing, if we was going to call this thing, this a thing that caused Moses to not be able to go over, faithlessness. Faithlessness is the thing that Moses did that caused him not to be able to go over. He said, because you did not believe me, because you was not firm in me and my words and the things that I have to say. And there's more, to set me apart in the eyes of the children of Israel. And it's interesting because when we look at this thing that Moses has done, he takes away the credit, I should say. He takes the credit away from the Most High and brings it unto his own self. He takes it away from himself. Takes it away from the Most High and brings it unto himself. He said over here, what'd that say right there with this right here?
It said, shall we bring water for you?
Shall we?
Out of this rock?
Shall we bring it? Who's we? Who's he talking about? Is he talking about himself and his brother? Or is there three? Is he including himself in what the Most High is doing? Who's the we? Who's the we he's talking about? Is it the Most High and him? Is it the Most High and Aaron and Moses? Or is it just Aaron and Moses? Who's the we? Who gonna do it? The Most High is the one that's gonna do it. The Almighty is the one that's gonna do it. And so when we get down to verse 12, Most High said he took offense to all of that. You did not. He said because you did not believe me to set me apart in the eyes of the children of Israel. This ain't got nothing to do with Moses. This has got to do with the Most High and his power, his sustaining power that he has for us. We could do that. We could do this stuff right now. We can sit up here and do this stuff right now. Look at all of these things that I've done for my people, for my family. All these things that I've done. I sit up here and I do this and I do that for them. I do this. It's about me. But apart from the strength that you receive from the Most High, you can't do nothing. Nothing. No thing can you do outside of the power of the Most High that he gives you. Yep. And so he would have been exhibiting that if he would have went out there and did what the Most High said. If he would have went out there and just said whatever he was going to say, or maybe he would have been like, okay, Rock, give him some water.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's what he was supposed to do, just speak to the rock. But it made it seem like it's some other thing when he sit up there and maybe he busted a hole in the rock with the staff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. He hit it twice. He hit it one time and cracked it. He hit it 2 times and then busted it open. I don't know what it looked like. But however it looked, it did not glorify the Most High the way that the Most High had wanted for him to do it. Mm-hmm. And so there's that. There's that part of it. But the other part that we got to think about is the fact that the part that we started off with is the fact that if he would have allowed the experience of being in the presence of the Most High, if he would have allowed that experience to change his heart, then he wouldn't have came back out in all that emotion which caused him to even do this thing in the first place. And so we have to learn a few things. We have to be able to learn, first of all, that we have to be able to give, our issues, our problems, our situations, our circumstances to the Most High. And just lead them things over there with him. And literally trust in the fact that he's going to do something about those things. And even if he doesn't do something about the things, you're trusting that he's going to move in your favor. Whatever the thing is. Maybe you sit up there asking for a thing, but you don't know what the right thing is. He gonna give you the right thing, whether you know what the thing is or not.
Right.
Most High, I need this specific car. I know you gonna give it to me, because I need it. I need to be able to get over here to do these things. Maybe the Most High like, well, you don't need that car, but here, take this one. If we looking at that correctly, we seeing the blessing.
Right.
That he's taking care of me regardless of what I know. I don't always know what's best and what's good for me.
Yep.
And so so I'm saying the situation is that I need this thing. The details is cloudy in my mind. I don't know what I need, but he knows. But I got to be able to trust that he going to take care of it and just leave it at that.
Yep.
What was you going to say?
Oh, like he said in Matthew, the sparrow worry about what it's going to get, or
What's that verse right there?
yeah, I was just because this is a couple. It's that one and when I think it's in there. He said that the Son of Man don't got anywhere to lay his head, but you think I'm worried about it?
We need that.
That is Luke 9:58. You might have to go up a little bit from that. Let me see. Oh, that's one of them. Wait, what was the first one I said? Because this is two different scriptures that I just mentioned. This one, what did I say just before that? Oh, about the sparrow, I think, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, not that one. Here, let me see. But we need that. Because people out here doing all kinds of things when they supposed to be trusting in the Most High, and really I don't know if anxious is in that or fear. What's 10:31 say?
Maybe Luke 12:7.
Hold on.
Or I guess it started Luke 12:6. Let's see what that is.
What'd you say?
Luke 12:6.
Let's see here.
For many, that's not it. They talk about the sparrows. This is, he didn't use sparrows. Why is that slipping my head? Oh, probably just okay. I'll probably look up when they talk about not caring for the next day, for tomorrow. That's probably.
I think that what do it say in Matthew 10:26? Matthew 10 and 26.
Says, therefore do not fear them, for whatever is covered shall be revealed, and whatever is hidden shall be made known.
28.
Says, and do not fear those who kill the body, but are unable to kill the being. But rather fear him who is able to destroy both being and body in Gehenna.
Gehenna. All right, drop down to 31.
It says, so do not fear, you are worth more than many sparrows.
I mean, you could look at this and it's getting us to the point where we have to be able to not be looking at our situations, things that could potentially harm us or bring some type of discomfort in our physical body, but trusting in the one who's able to actually deliver both our physical body and our actual soul.
I found it. It's Matthew 6.
Matthew 6.
And 13. I'm not trying to read all of this, but I guess we can start at 30. It says, but if Elohim so clothes the grass of the field, which exists today and tomorrow is thrown into a furnace, how much more you owe you of little belief? Do not worry then, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or what shall we wear? For all these the nations seek for, and your heavenly Father knows that you need all these. But seek first the reign of Elohim and his righteousness, and all these shall be added to you. Do not then worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow shall have its own worries. Each day is enough evil of itself.
I mean, when you think about what he's saying over here, when we see this over here, this is supposed to build us up. Look at the birds in the heavens. They don't sow or reap.
That's the exact scripture I wanted. I was thinking, I still didn't get it.
They don't sow or they don't reap. They don't got no storehouses. They ain't got none of that. Yet the Heavenly Father feeds them. You not worth more than they, he said. Of course you are worth more than they. And so when we sit up here and we worry about how I'm supposed to eat, how I'm supposed to get heat, how I'm supposed to get to work, how I'm supposed to do this, how I'm supposed to do that, and you up here worrying so much, you having physical problems in your body because you up here worrying. Meanwhile, your situation might not be the most comfortablest situation, but you gonna live. You gonna make it through. Them people was out there in the wilderness. Who knows how long they had to sit up there and not have water before they got to the point where they sitting up here mad at Moses about not having no water.
Yeah.
But they ended up getting some water though. Their situation was so uncomfortable.
Right.
But the Most High was still going to take care of them.
Sure.
We got to sit up here and be able to know that our situations ain't going to be all fluffy all the time. In fact, they're going to be the opposite of fluffy.
Most of the time it's not, yeah.
I don't know why I was saying fluffy. If something's fluffy, you think about some big old pillows with a comforter. with a teddy bear, all that fluffy stuff.
That just fireplace.
All that.
With some hot chocolate.
That's so comfortable. But it ain't always going to be comfortable. Nope. And that don't mean that the Most High ain't right there with you. Especially if you said, Most High, please be with me. Is he going to not be with you? What you trying to say?
I just want to say that I was at a memorial funeral service yesterday. And whenever the lady got basically the death sentence from the doctors. And the Sabbath came, and she told her children to go and get food so they could have a Sabbath meal at the hospital. So, like, her demeanor didn't go to complaining and even really crying. Even, like, the whole thought process of even, like, continuing and just focusing on her situation, but focusing on the Most High. Mm-hmm. And if her family is going to be at the hospital on a Shabbat, it's the Shabbat. We won't be doing the Sabbath over here. And so, that really touched me because she wasn't here the next Sabbath after that. Mm-hmm. You know? She didn't make it to the next Sabbath. Mm-hmm. But for that Sabbath, which was her last Sabbath, her focus wasn't complaining to the Most High or complaining about her situation, but about just being obedient to what He would have them to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a testimony right there.
And not right there. Now, see, we're able to look at this and see what not to do. Right? We're able to look at what Israel's doing over here. And even Moses this time. Most of the time it's Israel doing something and then Moses acting right. But we're able to see even over here what not to do. We see it through Israel and Moses. Between them complaining and him not trusting in the Most High. It's where it don't matter what your situation is. It don't matter what your situation is. We have to be able to trust in the Most High. We have to be able to cast our cares unto Elohim and know that He cares for us. He cares for us. He cares for us more than these birds that's out here that don't got to worry about none of that stuff. And so when we look over here at Moses and his actions, again, we learn this very, very valuable lesson that, we cannot allow our situation, the situations and the circumstances that we find ourselves in, these moments in time, we can't allow these moments in time to define our situation. Because it's just that. It's just a moment. It's just a moment of discomfort. It's just a little moment in time of me not being able to do this or get there or experience this or that. But we got to think about the fullness of things and the fact that the Most High said He wasn't going to leave us or forsake us. And so when we know that, when we trust in that, that's supposed to be able to help us to get through these situations. Yeah, it's uncomfortable, but Most High got me. That's how we supposed to be out here in this world. Yeah, it's messed up. It's a little cold, but the Most High got me. Yeah, my belly on empty, but the Most High got me.
2 Timothy 2:12 says.
Hold on. Let me pull it up. 2 Timothy 2.
12. If we endure, which is suffer.
Hey, you want King James?
Yeah,
You want the
that's what,
KJV?
you know what I'm saying? Just that, put that, you know what I'm
Let
saying?
me get that.
Suffering in it.
Let me get that KJV. I mess with the KJV. So. Good.
If we suffer, we shall also reign with him. If we deny him, he also will deny us. And so, you know, a lot of people got it confused. They think it's going to be, you know, happy times and partying and, you know,
Fluffy.
bountiful.
Bountiful.
You know what I'm saying? Tables, you know, where nobody's hungry or nobody's cold or nobody's sick. You know, that's not the gospel. Gospel is about, you know, putting our faith and our trust no matter what the circumstances are. And if you go through those things, suffer through those things, you're gonna reign with it.
Yeah. That's so important. He said, if we suffer, we also shall reign. That's that right there. I mean, when you think about it, these things are kind of simultaneous, because when I sit up here and I declare Yeshua as my master, I declare that he's my master. He's my sovereign ruler. He is the controller of my soul and my life. He's my king. Yeshua is. And then I got these problems, and I'm like, how are these problems going to get fixed? Well, what happened to your sovereign ruler? He ain't going to take care of it? You don't believe that he's sovereign over your every situation? Either you believe that he's sovereign over your every situation, or you don't. So it's interesting that when we look at 2 Timothy 2 and 12, when it talks about suffering, if you suffer, that they put these two things together. If we suffer, we shall reign. If we deny him, he shall deny us. But if you're not able to suffer with Messiah, if you essentially are denying him. You're denying his lordship over your life. You're denying the fact that he's able to get you through every situation. Well, he could get me through every situation except for if this thing happened. If this thing happened, I don't know how I'm gonna get out of it. But that's how we be though. We be like that. We get in these situations and we just
like that. I don't know what that's.
I'm saying people is like that.
People are. But
people is out here like, what is going to happen?
That's funny.
How am I supposed to get through this? How am I supposed to do it? Meanwhile, Yeshua is your Lord and Master. He's your King. That's how you gonna do it.
Pick and choose. I think what people really need to get is like, when you say that, people are envisioning a person or some. People are missing it, because when you say that, they need to be thinking that the spirit, which is the information that you received on the book, that's what you revert back to in all your thoughts. It's your thoughts. Like what when things happen, what do you think of? What do you give your mind over to? That what are your spirit? What spirit? Because we know the book is spirit. This knowledge is a spirit. And what spirit are you going back to when you encounter things in your life? Every time something happened to me, I'm the Most High is in my head like, okay, well, the Bible's literally scrolling through my brain like, where, you know?
That's what I was going to say. That's why it's so important to know his word.
Exactly, yeah.
There's so many examples of our forefathers,
Uh-huh.
all their mistakes,
Yeah.
all their troubles, all of the things they went through, and yet
Yep.
he was still there the whole time.
Yep. And that's when you like, where did he show up for them? You be like, oh, in the scripture, and that can reinforce your thoughts to make the right decisions without even having to try hard. People think you gotta like verbatim know the scripture, but the scripture is a spirit. So your actions, all your actions is not verbatim in the book. But your decisions is based off of it. You want to read this? Wisdom of Solomon 15:3. For to know thee is perfect righteousness. Yea, to know thy power is the root of immortality.
We have to know who he is in order to know that he's not going to just leave us hanging. When we know him and understand his power and understand the way that he moves, that's those things help us to be able to make it through any situation. I felt like I was gonna die. I never felt like I was feeling before in my whole life. I didn't understand why I was feeling that way. But what was my answer? My answer was, I need to ask the Most High just to fix this thing.
Exactly.
Please do it.
Exactly.
You the only one that I trust to do it.
Exactly.
I don't trust nothing else but the fact that I know you sat up there and had them people walking around and people getting healed by their shadows. The thing that Yeshua did the most was go around healing people. Let me get some of that. But if you don't never take your things to him and give it to him and leave it there,
Right.
then you just want to carry it. You want to just carry that thing like it's a little pot with a little plant, your problem plant that you sit up there and you water, you feed it, and that thing grow and grow and grow. Meanwhile, you supposed to take that thing and just sit it right over there. Here, Most High, Yeshua, you take that, because I can't carry it.
I think what people don't believe he's watching them. I think people are so carnal that because they can't see him, they don't believe he's watching them. Because when you believe, or when you believe what happened, your actions is based on it because you believe he's watching you and he hears you.
I mean,
so these people don't believe it.
They don't. And that's the problem that we look over and see. That's why Moses didn't make it into the promised land. Because he had a moment of faithlessness. But him among all people shouldn't have had that moment just right there. And the Most High knew that he shouldn't have had that moment, and he was judged as a result of it. But the thing that he exhibited there was faithlessness. He wasn't able to trust in the Most High. And he wasn't even able to hear properly from the Most High because of his rage and anger towards these people and how they was acting. What's this verse here right here say, verse 10?
Isaiah 41:10. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy power. I will strengthen thee. Yea, I will help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness.
He gonna do all these things? Hold on, we got to look at this. He gonna do all of these. First of all, he don't want us to be let's see. That word's translated as dismayed. This word means to gaze for help. Interesting. inspect, consider, compassionate, nonplussed. I don't know what that word even means. Bewildered. I like this. To gaze. This literally means to gaze. If you're just sitting off there looking off in the distance for something to come. I recently met this person thinking about this idea of gazing. And you would talk to this person and they would have this look on them as that they just wasn't even present there with you. Like they was looking off into whoever, wherever they was looking off to. They just had this gaze. And I could just think about, he's saying over here, be not dismayed. Don't dismayed. Don't be just off just looking for an answer. That's just way over there. The answer's, where is it? Is it coming? Is it going to be here? Is it coming soon? And you seen it? You seen the thing coming? He said, don't be dismayed, but he said that for you to be all these things, he said, I'm going to strengthen you. I'm going to help you, and I'm going to uphold you. He going to do all them things? He going to do all, hold on, what's this? What he going to do? I'm trying to see what he going to do, because he going to do something for me. That's what he said he going to do. Amats. He said, to be alert, to be mentally encouraged, confirm, courageous. He going to strengthen you. He going to cause you to be, I'm aware. I'm ready for the things. I'm of good courage. I'm confirmed. Like I know. To be alert physically on foot. Like my feet is up underneath of me. Like that's the one thing he gonna do. What else he gonna do? He gonna help. Surround, protect, aid, help. So he's around me. He's strengthening me. He's causing me to be away. And then he gonna cause things to not even be able to get to me in the first place if he's protecting me and surrounding me. What else he gonna do? He gonna uphold me. Tamak, sustain, obtain, keep fast. When we think about faith, faith is about firmness and holding fast. This word here is keep fast. He's keeping me fast. Help, follow, retain, maintain, hold up. This is all what the Most High going to do. And so when we don't have faith, we denying all of these things that he said he was going to do out of his own mouth. Mm-hmm. He said he going to do these things. So you just think about what you doing. You said he a liar then. Mm-hmm. Like when we get into these places of faithlessness and doubt, we're also saying that the Most High is a liar.
Right. But you don't trust him.
You don't trust him because of something. Like I don't trust sitting in a certain chair because it's weak. When you get them little $5 Walmart chairs, I don't trust sitting in those. Because I'm probably going to bend it and I'm probably going down. Right? So I don't trust it because of something. Right? So if I'm saying that I don't trust the Most High, it's because he must not been telling the truth whenever he said that he was going to help me. When he was going to strengthen me and uphold me. Like there's a because in there. Because I don't know him. Somebody step up behind me like, I got your back. Wait, who is you again?
Yeah.
Could you help me for real? Like, I don't even know you. Like, what you gonna do when these people come against me? What you gonna do? But if I know you, if I know what you're capable of,
right,
at least I know. Well, I know you gonna be there, but I also know that I need to kind of stay in front of you because you might not be that much help. But but I know you though. There's a known and an unknown situation. But go ahead.
No, I was going to say no. Finish it.
No, I'm just saying that when we know the Most High, when we know His power, we're able to move forward the way that He would have for us to move forward because we know what He's capable of doing for us. Because there's that knowledge that's there. And we can't get to the place of not understanding these words that He said. Don't be sitting up here looking off into no man's land for something else to come because I'm here. I am thy mighty one, He said. I will strengthen you and help you and uphold you. Go ahead.
I was going to flip it and say, does He know you? Because that's important in this process as well. Because, if He don't know you, you ain't gonna handle all of these things right here. That strengthen. He gonna help you. He gonna uphold you. All of that. If He don't know you, that ain't for you.
But it's one and the same though, because the thing is, you gotta want to know Him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it ain't like He closed off people.
No.
Who He closed off with this book from knowing Him.
But I think
so they said, and He came to a people to know Him.
Right.
Gave them what they needed to know Him. And they said, "We don't want to know you."
Yeah. It's a mutual knowledge. He know you and you know Him.
Right.
It's a relationship. It's when we think about to know in the biblical sense, it's a mutual thing that's going on. And so it's that relationship, that binding of two entities coming together. And so when we think about this, when we think about the actions of the people, the actions of Moses over here, because he allowed his emotions to cloud his decision making process. It just helps us to understand these very important things. When we could live a whole life that manifests a right relationship between us and the Most High, but when we act in certain ways, it shows who we are. Just like Yeshua said, you did this and you did that, you cast out demons and all of these things in my name. He said, depart from me, you workers of iniquity, I never knew you. I never had no real relationship with you, obviously, because your actions have shown that you don't really know me.
Right.
And so, again, we look at Moses, who had this magnificent relationship with the Most High. He got this stiff penalty against him because he should have been at another level than what he manifested right there. He should have been able to, yes, been mad and upset and enraged. But when he got into the presence of the Most High and didn't allow for the presence of the Almighty to take away all of that rage that he had, all of that anger, when that happened, that was a test that he failed. And the Most High said, all this thing that you've been doing all these years has all been for nothing. You're not taking them into the land. because of this thing that you had did. And so, it helps for us to be able to look at these things and know that the Most High is calling for us to really behave in a way that's appropriate to our relationship with the Father.
Exactly.
Like, you can't be up here saying that you've been with the Most High all of this time, and then there's this and that you out here doing.
Exactly.
He expects for you to act according to your spiritual age, whatever that thing is. Because Moses was a spiritual grown man over here. And so he didn't have no business doing that. And that's why he got this harsh judgment against him.
And what's interesting too is as we have these stories, this history, and when Yeshua coming, see, Moses wasn't given time to really repent from it. He was just judged. And so, like, when Yeshua came and did his part, now we got the ability to put off, like he said, to put off the old man. Moses, if he'd have had that grace at that time, could have put off that old man. If it could have been explained to him, this where you messed up in it. But now we got all of these stories to give us the full story, and then with the Spirit of Yeshua coming back as an example to not be like these, to get that judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it let me know that, the Most High is just, right? Because just like he judged the everyday person, he gonna judge the person at the top too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it lets me know that, there's nothing new under the sun. And we got the same enemy that's been doing the same things since the beginning. Mm-hmm. Who've been whispering in people's ear, getting people to provoke you, getting all of these things. I know he stirred up the people and got under Moshe's, skin, and he done lost it. But, you still got to be able to understand and know that, you got to behave a certain way.
Right.
You know what I mean? When you're called, we are called. And we have a higher standard that is expected from us.
Mm-hmm. But not only that, you got to do it no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what your situation, what happened to you, you don't break character. Yeah, you don't. You got a role. You don't break.
Yes.
You don't break character.
Yes.
Of your role, you're playing a role in the movie. The movie can't be completed, and you be considered the righteous person if you break character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. And that's, unfortunately, that's what happened. From a physical standpoint, Moses wasn't able to fulfill his, this destiny that was attached to him as being the deliverer and the one to lead the people into the land. He just said it wasn't even a thing. You're not going over there.
Yeah.
That's it. And, you really have to really think about all the things that's involved in what he did so that we can know that there's a thing in us, which is different. It depends on who we are. There's a thing in us where the Most High could really just be like, all right, that's it. That was the line that you wasn't supposed to cross. Because it was just like, when you think about it, it's like we could bring up 5 other things that all these people did that was way worse. Like from a quantitative standpoint, was way worse than what Moses did right over here.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he even honored He even honored his disobedience. He could have hit the rock and didn't nothing come out. But he still let the water come out. That's something right there.
But wait, you mean?
I'm saying Moses could have hit the rock and the Most High didn't let water come out.
But Moses made the offense after he hit the rock, though, right?
No, he wasn't supposed to even hit the rock in the first place. That was the offense.
Speak to it. I hit it.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying that even though the Most High didn't want him to strike it, he struck it and water still came out. So he honored him in that way, even in his disobedience. But he judged him. He got judgment for it. Like, he didn't even have to do that. He could have been like,
wow.
Wait. He could have been like, how come ain't no water coming out? He could have did him like that. But he ain't even do him like that. He just let the water come out.
Well, it would have been him doing the people like that because the water was for the people.
The water was indeed for the people.
But look,
I'm saying that we could see a situation where the Most High, if he's the one who's leading the people, they could potentially suffer because of what the people on top is doing.
Absolutely.
I mean, that happens. That's happening every
exactly. But you know what that kind of spiritually or symbolically just hit me with was the Most High told him to speak to the rock. No violence or anything. No crazy force or effort needed outside of you speaking to it, and it was going to happen.
Man, Moshe wanted to hit them people with that staff.
He hit the rock, which represented violence, to get stuff done. How's the world ran?
Right.
Violence, the wickedness to get the stuff done. And that's like a little mini thing. And the Most High still allowed it because you can still get things done with striking stuff because it instills what? Fear. You got these tyrannical governments and the people fear them. And now look what they doing to them, running from them. And it's like, that's what the Most High is like, y'all want to be ran like that because all the people respected it. And was, it was like, and then Moses, by disobeying, because he wouldn't have gave the people that fear or that reverence hadn't he hit it. And it would have probably caused people to really believe it's like, oh, he just spoke and look at what happened. So it's like the information is more important than the physical. I'm just gonna jump out the window, but I was just like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, it's so when we look at the actions of Moshe, and see that he performed this thing where you could say, just from a kind of superficial standpoint, it was just this minor mix-up. It was just this small little thing. But the thing that makes it a big thing is the relationship that Moshe actually had with the Most High. The scriptures tell us that, the Most High, he other people, they dream dreams and they hear visions and things. But he spoke to Moses face to face, right? Moses was the closest one to the Most High, and so therefore there's more responsibility on the way that he was supposed to move, than anybody else. And so this really causes us, it should really cause us to really think about the way that we behave in this world, because we, as followers of Yeshua, we have a standard over our lives that the Most High is going to actually hold us to. And as you say, we can't be out here breaking character, right? We can't do it, right? We have to remain true to our Master Yeshua and not deny him before men, because he will indeed deny us before the Father if we do so. Okay, so let's keep on going over here. Let's read down here because some other things happened too that I want to talk about. Let's drop down. Read for us verse 22.
The children of Israel, all the company, departed from Kadesh and came to her Mount Hor. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe and to Aaron in Mount Hor, near the border of the land of Edom, saying, Aaron is to be gathered to his people, for he is not to enter the land which I have given to the children of Israel, because you rebelled against my mouth at the water of Meribah. Take Aaron and Eleazar his son and bring them up to Mount Hor, and strip Aaron of his garments and put them on Eleazar his son, for Aaron is to be gathered to his people and die there. Man. And Moshe did as Yahweh commanded, and they went up to Mount Hor before the eyes of all the congregation. And Moshe stripped Aaron of his garments and put them on Eleazar his son, and Aaron died there on the top of the mountain. And Moshe and Eleazar came down from the mountain. And when all the congregation saw that Aaron was dead, all the house of Israel wept for Aaron 30 days.
And so Aaron, who was a passive participant in this whole striking of the rock situation, Moshe said, go up there and die. Go over there because of what you did or didn't do. Go over there and die. Take your clothes off, give it to your son. He taking your place. You go up there. Y'all all going up. Two man enter, one man exit. Y'all all go up there. Aaron, you ain't coming back. That's it. I mean, he wasn't sick or nothing. He just took his life. He wasn't like, it don't talk about him being like a certain way. All this stuff is connected to what happened. Go up there and die because of what you did. And he didn't even do nothing. Moses did it. Moses is the one that did it.
He didn't. The Most High, he's not the one to be playing with. People don't know who they worshiping. They don't know who the Most High is. Do people know this? People be walking around Christians and it's like I teleported there. Like as you're reading this, I was out there watching Aaron walk up, die. I see Moses putting this thing on Eleazar, and they coming down. Moses dead, and people was just like, "What?" Like, that's what we're dealing with. That's what we dealing with.
And so, just like when we think about what it was that Moses did, we gotta think about what Aaron did or didn't do. Why does he get this harsh judgment against him whenever Moses is the one who did it? Moses is the one who hit the rock. Aaron he didn't do nothing. But the problem is that when we look at this, Moses the Most High gave instructions to Moses and Aaron. You know, a lot of places we see Yahweh spoke to Moses, spoke to Moshe. We see this all over the place. And there's a few places where it says Yahweh spoke to Aaron, but over here they both went before the Most High. And it says that he spoke to Moses and to Aaron. And so what we have to understand over here as Aaron, who, by the way, had a track record of being a silent participant, a passive participant in things. He allowed for his sister to speak out of turn before, didn't say nothing, but he was involved in the situation because this Torah involves him. So he's there letting her be beside herself. And over here, when we look at this, Moses and Aaron are given their instructions. Aaron was supposed to stop Moses whenever he was doing that.
He was denying him.
He said it right there. This thing that he says is to both of them.
Mm-hmm.
This thing that the Most High says is to both of them. Whenever it talks about the fact that you, he said that you did not believe me. You set me apart in the eyes of the children of Israel. That's for Moses and Aaron, because Aaron was there. He got the instructions, and he was supposed to stop Moses from doing that, from striking the rock. He was supposed to catch his arm, like how they did whenever they was holding his arm up for the battle. They were supposed to snatch his arm down, Aaron was, and stop him from doing it. He did. The Most High was not satisfied with Aaron just standing by and not just being this passive participant in life. And so when we think about this and try to bring some practical application to this situation, it don't do the Most High any good for us to be these observers of the world, and we not doing nothing, because he judged Aaron very harshly for just being an observer. When he told the Most High, he told Aaron to participate.
Yeah.
He told Aaron to participate, but Aaron never got to the place of participation. He was just an observer. And he got judged very harshly. Go over there and die.
Because somebody got to speak up. You righteous, and anything go off that you know is righteous, like you letting wickedness happen.
That's what happened.
So it's like he can't guard righteousness from here forward. You gotta take your things off. I need somebody to guard righteousness, especially as a priest. Mm-hmm. You can't just let that happen and not say nothing. Mm-mm. You ain't no priest no more. You ain't no priest to me.
But he didn't even just get. It wasn't like he got demoted only. Like he could have just said, "All right, well, this how you gonna be? You can't be the high priest no more. Take your clothes off and give it to him." Mm-hmm. He could have just stopped at that. But it was more severe than that. Not only can you not be a priest to me, but there's no reason for you to even be alive. There's no reason for you to even live anymore. If you can't do the thing that the Most High has instructed for you to be doing out here, all right, fine, don't do it, but there's no reason for you to live. That's what happened. That's what happened.
That's exactly what it is.
Our lives got to be about the kingdom.
What are you here for?
Our lives got to be about the kingdom. If you're not living for the kingdom, then what are you living for?
Right. It's like you see all these people who, died early. They was doing their own things out here, acting reckless, acting crazy. And what is your purpose? To be out here just wilding out? Nah, it's time for you to go. And you be seeing these people 16, 17, 18, 20, 30, 40. Those are still early ages. They just check out. You're like, dang, man. But what was they doing with their life?
The Most High has a purpose and a plan for our lives.
Now, what's interesting is up further in the verse or the
Hold on, let me pull it up.
the chapter. I'll start at 25. What version? Okay, I'll read it on here.
What you want, King James?
No, it don't matter. I was just the point that was in here. He said, "Take Aaron and Eleazar his son and bring him up to Mount Hor, and or how do you say it? Strip Aaron of his garments and put them on Eleazar his son. Now there's a point. For Aaron, now this is what the Most High told him to do. For Aaron is to be gathered to his people and die there." So we know the Most High. So as you read down and it gets a part where his garments are stripped, he died on top of the mountain. Maybe he could have died because of guilt, or because the Most High didn't say he was going to kill him on top of that mountain. The Most High just said he got to go back to his people, take his stuff off, and he's going to go die with his people. But when he took it off, I don't know, the guilt or whatever, the holiness leaving him, just died on top of the mountain.
When he says you get being gathered to your people, he means to the dead people. His people was right over there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right down
I got you. I got you now.
It's kind of like what you call it, euphemism.
Got you. All right.
It's kind of like a euphemism when talking about gathered to his people. He basically said it two different ways:
So,
gathered to your people and
for
died
some
there.
reason, like he go back, like you be with the regular Israel, not the priest no more. Though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean from.
But Aaron was their Levite, so where else is he going to go?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
okay, all right.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that somebody was promoted or something. Levite, but this is the original tribes here.
Yeah. Yeah, and we really have to be able to look at ourselves and look at what it is that the Most High, is moving us to be out here doing, and make sure that we're doing those things, because there's so many things that go along with you doing or not doing what it is that the Most High said for you to be doing, right? Because, we looked at that other verse where it talks about the idea of the suffering and denying, right? This life that we live brings about a type of suffering, just as a fact of walking this way, right? Where you're walking one way and the whole world's going the opposite direction. You're going against the current. The current is pushing you backwards, but you're steady moving forwards against the current, against the way that, that's a type of suffering, even at that. And so when you let that current take you, you deny the power of the Most High. Because he said he was going to strengthen you. He said he was going to give you the ability to swim against the current. But you say it's easier to just go with the flow. But when you say that, you deny the master and the strength that he said he was going to give you. And so when we look at these actions of Moses, and I don't think we're going to get to the next chapter, but when you look at Moses and Aaron and them getting these seemingly harsh consequences for their actions, when you really think about what it is that they've done, it's not harsh. It's not something that's outside of the realm of possibility. These things are completely appropriate to the things that they've done. We're looking at the top two people in Israel. When the top don't get no higher. When one mess up, the other one was supposed to be there to stop him from messing up. And they both messed up at the same time. There was no checks and balances there present. So Most High said, okay, then y'all not gonna operate in the positions that I placed you in. Then you're not gonna operate at all.
Integrity lost. Boom, matter.
Essentially, the same thing's gonna happen with Moses, where but he's got a lot now that he's got to convey over, to the next generation. So he had to sit a little longer before his sentence came, but the sentence came nonetheless. And so this really should really help us and motivate us at the same time to be able to understand that the Most High has a thing for us to be doing. If you know what that thing is, you better be doing that thing. Because, the difference is that the Most High, he'll let you not do what he wants for you to do for some undetermined amount of time. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to answer for that. If you never decide to get your act together, then you're going to have to answer for that. And so, we have to really, these, we living in the last days. We got to understand that we don't got time to be messing around out here. We have to be moving in the direction that the Most High has for us to be moving in only. And understanding that we're going to be going through some uncomfortable situations. However, we have to keep on pressing forward. We don't have a choice. There's nothing else that we could do.
Yeah, right.
There's not an alternative.
Yeah, I mean,
that's our endurance.
Yeah, you probably already tried it anyway. We done tried all the things we wanted.
Yeah. There's nowhere else to go.
Exactly.
There's nowhere else to go.
That's why I be like,
we can only move in
do?
the direction that the Most High is pointing us in. So why fight the inevitable? You can't.
You sound like you taking lines on the Matrix. It's the inevitable.
It's
the
inevitable.
Like
that's Mr. Anderson.
Right.
Is the sound of inevitability.
Right. Nothing you can do.
Oh my goodness. All right. So, anybody have any last thoughts, questions, or comments about any of that?
I would like to say, as a warning, and I'm warning myself as well, that don't allow these people out here to push you to the edge to where you fall over into disobedience. Because day by day, the enemy is sending people at us to provoke us to go out of character, to go off the path. So just be aware that, the enemy is ever present in his goal. He already got the other people. He already got them.
Yeah.
He got them. They're in his pocket. He's trying to get you. He's trying to get you to fall off.
Yeah.
And so it's important that you don't, whether it's the Jacobites or whether it's the children of Japhet, or Ham, all of these people can be used to push you to disobedience. So just make sure that we all stay on point.
Yeah, very good.
I want to add in. It's gonna be funny because what's happened, like the time frame that we're in. But we'll look at the other people like zombies. So like, what happens when you get bit by a zombie? You become a zombie.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the word, you gotta look at the word as like your tools, your weapons to fight against the zombies.
Yeah.
You want to make sure you using those weapons, you know, the word as the sword as it speaks of, to fight these bad ideas, these wicked spirits. That's it.
Yeah. Hallelujah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that being said, we'll let that be the last words. Y'all willing, we'll be back on next Shabbat. And thank you all for coming. Thank you all for your input and comments. Make sure you like the video, share the video. We're trying to get some things together to get more content on the channel. And hopefully we'll be moving forward on that note. But if you didn't never hit the bell notification, you won't know whether we did it or if we didn't do it. So make sure you do that. And then y'all willing, like I said, we'll be back on next Shabbat. So for now, we'll say Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Oh, man.
And we'll see you next time.